I'm looking for Peter Stone. If he's in the vicinity, you'll recognize him. He's a 5-time Tony nominee, a 2-time winner, and the president of the Dramatists Guild. Is he around? We've been unable to find him for 15 minutes, so I came out fully prepared to replace him. Regretfully, then, Peter, it's yours.
How can I read and hold it? Why don't you keep it for a second? Stay.
I'll stand by.
Thank you, and good evening. I've never understood what's he doing back there.
You better hold it.
I'm going to hold it out of self-defense. I've never understood why the center aisle of this theater is off-center. If everybody would just move 18 inches this way, it would make things more comfortable. I'm the uncredited author of this speech. Joe Cates said that he'd be happy to put it on the teleprompter, and I said, terrific, do that, especially since the Guild, under the new Guild contract, that counts as a subsidiary usage, and I'd get residuals for it. So he said, never mind, the cheap escape. Presenting this special Tony honor tonight is very satisfying to me personally as well as professionally. 30 years ago, I was a young playwright who'd had several regional and resident productions, but I was still looking for my first Broadway show. Then I got a call from Robert Lance asking if I'd like to write the book for a musical he was producing. I'd never considered writing musicals, although I'd always loved seeing them. As a teenager, I was enchanted by Oklahoma, and later I'd thrilled to shows like Kismet, and I'd seen Kiss Me Kate at the Old Century Theater up on 58th Street. I'd seen that 5 times, actually 2 times all the way through, and I'd sneaked in to see the second act 3 more times. At $4.40 a pop, who could afford theater tickets? But writing a musical, I just wasn't sure. Robbie Lance told me that it was a show about Edmund Kean, England's greatest actor, and the score would be written by the 2 talented men who had written Kismet, and who incidentally are sitting down here in the front row tonight since they've been nominated yet again for a Tony Award, Robert Wright and George Ford. Boys. And then Robbie told me that Edmund Kean was going to be played by Alfred Drake. And hearing those 2 words, Alfred Drake, changed my life forever. The star of Oklahoma and Kismet and Kiss Me Kate, the spellbinder I'd gone to see 5 times to hear him sing all those amazing Cole Porter songs, Where's the Life That I Led, and I've Come to Wive It Wealthfully in Padua, and all those others. Marveling at the bravado, the humor, the flair, the lasciviousness, the diction. It had been breathtaking. Well, of course I said yes, and I have to admit that part of that decision was based on my desire merely to meet the man in person. And shortly thereafter I did meet him, and that was the most astonishing part of all. The Alfred Drake I met was a man of average stature. How was that possible? The star I'd seen playing Petruchio on the stage of the Century Theater had been a giant, standing downstage, facing front, his eyes blazing, legs spread apart, his hands defiantly on his hips, a giant. But the answer was obvious. The man was indeed a giant performer. Ladies and gentlemen, the special Tony honor for 1990 is awarded to the greatest singing actor the American musical theater has ever produced, Mr. Alfred Drake.
It's going to be a long show. This, of course, is a big thank you night. I might as well start right now by saying thank you to Mr. Peter Stone for that lavish introduction. And, of course, to all the members of the Tony Awards Committee. I have many people to thank. I couldn't possibly list them all. It would be longer than Don Giovanni's list. All the writers I've ever worked with, all the composers, all the lyricists, all the directors, all the producers, all my fellow players, men and women, from whom I hoped I learned something in all this period of time. And of course, every audience for which I played, I thank them too. The 20th anniversary of the Tonys was a rather festive evening. All of us who had won a Tony were there performing. And the minute we got finished, we all ran down to the basement where we could see the monitors because we wanted to watch all our peers. And they were wonderful. The applause from the audience was equally wonderful. And at one point, David Wayne, who was standing next to me, looking at the monitor, then Davey turned to me and said, "Alfred, I guess we haven't wasted our lives." I want to thank you tonight for giving all of us who work in the theater that reassurance that we haven't wasted our lives. Thank you.